This is just a brief overview of the eldest control system. Now this is the main control panel, which is turned off at the moment. Now let's assume we're not hooked up to the 240 supply, so we're just going to run off of a 12 volt system. So the first thing we need to do is turn the master switch on. That activates the 12 volt system. The power is now coming from the leisure battery, which is being charged by the solar panel. Now the things you can use on 12 volts are the TV, which is 12 volts and 240, lighting obviously, and the water pump. Okay, you can't use water heating on electric unless you're plugged in, or the fridge. The fridge can't be used on electric, but it can be used on gas. We'll go into that later. So with no 240 hookup, the 12 volt system will power the lights, the pump and the TV. This is the side locker that contains the leisure battery and the hookup point for the 12 volts, sorry, the 240 volts. This is showing the lead already plugged in. When you plug it in, make sure it goes all the way home and the top cap engages behind the little lug, so you know there's no gap here between the plug and the connector. Okay, and you can have the plug lead trailing through this little space here, so you can close the locker door. This is the Dometic fridge. It can be used on 12 volts when the battery of the vehicle through the alternator. That can only be used when the vehicle's running. So when you're travelling to site, you can use 12 volts from the vehicle alternator. It can be run on gas, or it can be run on 240 volts when you're plugged in. So if you look at the control panel, it's quite simple. Just turn on the power. Okay. Now it's come on gas, that's what it was last used, so we'll take the gas off just to show you how it works. So we'll put the little plug symbol on. That means the fridge is now running off the hookup power, which is 240 volts. If we move to the next symbol, the gas symbol, press the gas symbol. I don't know if you heard that, but you can hear some clicking sounds. That's the fridge firing. It's just lit. We know it's lit because A, we could hear it, but B because the flame stayed on the symbol. So now the fridge is running on gas. So we can't use the battery symbol because the engine isn't running. The switch, or the grading on the right, is purely and simply temperature. So I always keep mine on full. Okay. Now you'll notice this fridge door is not shut. There's a reason for that. It's a good idea not to keep the fridge closed when you're not using it, because it will smell. Now the way to do that with this particular fridge, if we look down at the locking mechanism here, it's got a little slider. There, look. So that's slid back in. Now the fridge door will shut. So for this purpose, we're going to push it back out again. So that's slit out. It won't shut. Okay, it's important not to have this setting when you're travelling. You need to have the door shut when you're travelling, or it'll swing about, obviously. Okay, so that's all you really need to know about the fridge. Turn it off by keeping your finger on the button. It'll turn itself off. Now the fridge is turned off. The TV can be run from 12 volts or 240. There's no reason to put it on 240 really, but you can do. There's the power lead inside the top cupboard. But to turn the TV on, if it's not already, there's a switch underneath here. You'll find it there. Look, you can hear me clicking it. So make sure that's turned on. Remote control. Press the power button, and you'll see that it's turned to green on the left hand corner there. The TV will now power up, I hope. There you go.
Wanted him to hang up his mic. Has anything really changed?
Straightforward. We go back to the control panel. Got the master switch on, so we're powered. I've just turned the pump off to show you, so I'm going to turn the pump on now. That now means that the pump is activated, so when the system loses pressure, the pump will kick in and repressurise the system. So if I go to the sink tap and turn it on, and you can hear the pump rumbling in the background there. If I turn it off, it'll stay running for a while. You can hear it under the bench seat there. It will turn off in a second or so. There you go. Okay, never use I'll never put the pump on if there's no water in the system. Okay, that's absolutely crucial because you'll burn it out. That's how all the taps work, and that pressurises the toilet as well. So we'll look at that in a minute. So here's the Thetford flush cassette toilet. If we look at the bowl first, if I come down underneath the bowl, you can see a little slider. This slider opens and closes the valve into the cassette itself. Okay, so if we open it, because we're going to use the water, if I now press the flush button, that's just the discoloured water in the pipes there. That won't happen again. Okay, but I'm keeping that pressed. I'll take my finger off it now, and you can hear the pump clicking in the background. Okay, so when you're not using the toilet, obviously it's best to close the valve, put the seat cover down. That's all you need to do with the toilet. Okay, now we'll go to the heating of the water. Very simple operation. You can see the control switch just above the TV on the right. This can be used on gas or electric. But before we heat the water, we're going to do one thing. We're going to go to the sink and we're going to make sure that there's water in the hot water tank. Now obviously when you first use the motor and it's being drained down, the water tank will fill up when you put the water fill in. But to make sure there's water in the tank is crucial, because we don't want to turn the water heater on with no water in it. So the way to do it is set any tap, we're using a kitchen tap in this case, set the tap to hot. There's a cold setting, there's a hot setting here. So turn it all the way to the left. So when I turn the tap on now, on the hot setting, if I get a continuous flow of water, then I know the hot water tank is full. When you first fill it, it will splutter as air is expelled from the system. Don't worry about that. Wait till you get a continuous flow like that. You now know that the hot water tank is filled, and there you can hear the pump in the background again charging the system. Okay, now we'll move back to the control panel and we'll just put it on electric to start with. So you can see that there's two symbols on the right. The switch on the right is electric, the switch on the left is a gas. So it's got two wavy lines or one wavy line. It's just 2 kilowatts or 1 kilowatt. So really 1 kilowatt is not going to do much good. So we'll put it on a 2 kilowatt. I've now turned on the water heating system on electric. Now remember, this will only work if you're plugged into the mains. Okay, now we'll turn that off. It's a rocker switch, so it'll go 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt off. Now we'll go to the gas setting. So it's either on or off. So I'll put the gas setting on, throw the switch. That's all we need to do. Okay. Oh, incidentally, you can heat the water with gas and electric together. There you go, just hear the boiler kick in. So now the boiler's just fired up the green light. So we now know the boiler's lit. Now we're now moving from the hot water heating control unit to the top to below the TV for the room heating. Again, it's on electric or gas or both. There's two control knobs there. The one on the right is self-explanatory. It's a room temperature thermostat. It just adjusts the temperature within the room. Okay, so let's look at the control knob on the left. At the moment it's in the off position. You can see it's got one wavy line, two wavy lines, three wavy lines, a gas symbol and two wavy lines, and on the right, just here, a gas symbol on its own, and just above that a fan symbol. The fan symbol just means the fan's on by itself. Okay, now again, the electric symbols are just the amount of electric you're using. I think it's 500, 1000 and 2000, and the gas is gas and electric together. So let's just put the room heating system on gas. So we go to the control knob and we turn it to the gas symbol. That's as simple as that. If we turn it off, if I turn it to the left, 500 watts, 1000 watts, 2000 watts, 1000 watts and gas. That's all we do. When the gas boiler comes on, a green light will appear. It may take 30 seconds for that to happen because it purges the system of air first. So if green light comes on, everything's good. If a red light comes, there's a fault somewhere. Okay, so it's as simple as that. A little explanation about how the gas system works. You've got two gas cylinders. Now, at this moment in time, this gas cylinder on the left is being used, and it's just threaded into the head here. If this was empty, you just unthread this and thread it into the side. Now, as I say, it's turned off at the moment. To turn it on, sorry, it's turned on at the moment. It's turned on at the moment. To turn it off, you turn it clockwise, which is opposite what you probably think. Okay, clockwise turns it off, anti-clockwise turns it on. Okay, so when you're travelling, turn it off. There are also separate isolation gas taps. Underneath the cooker you'll see two taps there, and underneath the bench seat where the boiler is, if I can just peer through the slats, you can see the gas tap down there. Now, there is no reason to turn those off. I always keep my taps open all the time. The only reason you would ever need to turn them off if there's some work being carried out on each appliance, but it's sufficient, I think, to turn it off at the main gas tank. Okay, so leave those turned on all the time. One other thing you need to know is the location of the electric supply fuse box. So if we open the locker below the bench seat, there you can see the RCD unit and the fuse is below. Okay, and you can see all the fuses are labelled, so you'll have no trouble there. Okay. Sink and hob, just a straightforward gas hob. Nothing strange about there. There's the three controls, and you've got the igniter below. Grill and oven just the same. Now, one thing about this particular sink that I don't like, I mean, that's my own personal thing, I don't see the logic of having this glass cover. You may want to take it off. I certainly would. Now, the reason for that is because you can see that if I was to put that glass cover down by mistake, I'd probably crash it in half because I'd hit the tap. So to put the cover down, you've got to move the tap out of the way and then put the cover down. Now, to me, that it's not a good design, because now if the tap drips, which they can drip, there's nowhere for the water to go. And personally, I can't see the logic for having a cover on it. But that's entirely up to you. If you do take it off, it's just a matter of undoing these two screws here, and the plate will come out. It's just a thought. Jack underneath passenger seat, vehicle battery, or the cab battery, underneath the passenger's feet. There's a plate there, you can see the battery's underneath there. The leisure battery, we've already identified where that is. And the spare wheel is underslung at the rear of the vehicle. There you go.